I was in the Army, and Uncle Sam invited me in. I was drafted initially, and then I decided that I would take. My parents were 3,000 miles away in Europe. My dad was in the Army, and I decided to have control of my life because when you're drafted, you're in for 2 years, but they can put you based on the needs of the Army anywhere they want. If you join the Army for 3 years, you can pick your specialty, assuming you can qualify for it. And of all the training that you can get in the Army, medical, communications, you name it, I decided to be an airborne infantryman because I saw this cut out of a poster right outside the recruiting office in Alexandria, Virginia. I said, that's what I want to be. So of all the training, I didn't have to join the Army for 3 years. I could have been drafted and gotten. So that's how I came in the Army. Yeah. It was, I'm not a big premonition person, but when I got up and was shaving this morning, I said, this does not feel like a good day. And I was down from flying for that day because I usually fly 3 or 4 days and give you a day off. And so you have a lot of ground administrative duties that you have to take care of. So I was watching, by way of background, the intelligence folks would set up a team of what they call Chu Hois. Those are North Vietnamese and Viet Cong who came over to our side. They would show us how easy it was to breach our perimeter. And each unit in this in Canto had a section, like a pie, section of the pie. And so our company commander became very concerned because all the concertina wire, the barbed wire we had out there had grass growing through it. So it'd be very easily for somebody to come through, snip a wire, come back out, come back the next day, hit the next wire, and next thing you know, they're in your perimeter. So the solution to that was to take our contaminated jet fuel, which we can't use in helicopters, and spray it on the grass and throw a thermite grenade, which starts fires and it burns all the grass up. But unfortunately, they forgot that they have a trip flare out there, and they're like a 4th of July fireworks. They're hooked up to wire, and it's a way of letting you know in advance that the bad guys are coming because they would trip that, send a flare up. Well, unfortunately, there was about 5 pilots out there just because they weren't flying that day. They were helping out. One of them hit the trip flare. It goes up, and just a sheet of flames go up. And I'm watching this from a distance, but the fuel truck is right beside me. So I said, this is not a really good place to be. So I start running as fast as I could. I got in a Jeep, and one guy got caught in the fire. 4 of the 5 got out. One got stuck in there for, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. But when he came out, he was in shock. His skin had just peeled. His hair was all burned down. And I grabbed a Jeep, and I took him over to the hospital, which is not that far away. Came in here, came out there, and it broke the leg this way and that way, went all the way through. Didn't hit any major blood vessels. And the orthopedic surgeon said, if that round had gone in a millimeter higher, you wouldn't have a lower leg. So just very, very lucky. It taught me how to trust people. And the trust that you have especially among military people, it's something, Joe, that's unspoken. And it's not something you ever talk about. A good example is in flying. We come out to pre-flight the aircraft in combat at about 5:30 in the morning, and the crew chiefs and flight engineers have been out there an hour before we got there, and they're checking everything's out. And we ask the chief, just to say you're the chief. I say, hey, Chief, how's this aircraft looking? He says, sir, it's pretty good. And I'm still going to do my pre-flight inspection, but I know that you're flying with me, so that does not go unnoticed. But I trust you that because I'm putting my life in your hands. But once we take off, they put their trust in the front two guys flying the aircraft that we're not going to do something stupid. And I don't care what branch of service you're in. If you're in the infantry, you're going to trust the guy or the person and the soldier or the Marine in the foxhole next to you. And if you're flying, it's your wingman. If you're in the Navy, it's your shipmate. It's not something we ever talk about. But if you were ever in trouble, I'm here to help you, because you'll see another veteran and they'll maybe have something on that you can tell they were in there, and that you just give that nod. You're right. I recognize you and I honor you. Yeah, and I respect you. And that's a good point. When I talk to civilian organizations, I talk to about a lot of these youngsters when they come in the military. They've never been part of an organization before. Now they're all of a sudden part of the Marine Corps or the Army, and there might be in a Marine Recon Battalion, or it might you might be an Army Ranger. You're a very specialized unit, and and that's your tribe. That's how you identify. And then you go in the military and you serve overseas and you come back and that's your unit, that's your pride, that's your tribe.